Who says welcome first? Me. Okay, welcome everybody. Welcome, Jeff. Nice to have you on the show. Hi, Peter. Nice to see you.
Welcome. Hi, Jeff. Hi, Armin.
Hi, Armin.
Thanks for making it possible that we meet. Just interesting. I was waiting for it because you're an interesting guy, Jeff. And today you just blew Facebook with your post, shooting 5 arrows in 1 second. Of course, nobody's believing that. And they always think that you simply sped up the footage, of course. But we talk about this in a second then, okay?
Yes.
Maybe you want to introduce yourself quickly, who you are, where you are, what you're doing, and so kind
of. I live in Florence, Kentucky, in the United States. Right now, I'm just full-time archery. I like 6 to 8 hours a day. That's all I do.
Oh.
You know, so I'm trying to learn a lot of different techniques from people like you know, and Peter, and I try to always consider myself a student and not a teacher, or, you know, because then I can continuously learn and get better and improve.
Of course.
You know, look at the process instead of, you know, the end, you know, like, so yeah. Really big fan of you guys. Armin, Peter, I've been following you guys for a long time.
Thank you, Jeff. Thank you, Jeff.
A lot of respect for you guys. I can't wait until your book comes out, Peter. I want to get it. Check it out.
I'm working on it.
How is the status, Peter? We're talking about it.
At the moment, as you see, I'm moving, so it's a little slow, but I'm working. I'm still working on it.
Okay.
But I'm working.
How long do you think your move will take?
I hope this weekend and the next week everything will finish.
Okay. But then you have time a bit more to write again. Finish the English version. That's good. I mean, you only have to finish the first one in the meantime.
That's a plan.
This print and then a second one. It's fine.
Yeah.
Great. Okay. Cool. So, Jeff, when did you start with archery? How did you come in contact with bow and arrow? When did this all happen?
Well, about 10 years ago, started shooting. Never touched a bow in my entire life.
Okay.
About 10 years ago. I'm 51 right now, so I was about 40 years old. So I just started shooting because I've been in martial arts since I was a kid. So I've worked out with swords and kamas and all different types of weapons. And I'm really fascinated with the bow and, you know, implications, like as far as combat.
Yeah.
So I started getting into watching videos, learning how to shoot, how to aim, stuff like that, and found out a lot of different opinions out there. You know, people make it a lot complicated than it really is. So I just went from there. I started having the same mistakes everybody has. You know, my fingers hurt. You know, and I couldn't do it right. So I started working out. I started to strengthen my fingers, you know, and try to work on my dexterity. And I thought maybe I can get better. And I realized that there's different techniques like knockless arrows and things like that. And when I tried them, I realized that like I have this little thing that I use for dexterity. It's like a little piece of an arrow. But you can basically get a pin or something like that as well. But I noticed when I started working on dexterity that with knockless arrows, it was real easy to load and really easy to shoot because just the way that you handle it, it was so much easier.
Yeah.
I said, well,
you're like a magician with you're very fast with your fingers, I see.
I've done a lot of training, sir, but thank you very much for your compliment. I appreciate you. But that's all I do. I wake up, that's what I do. I'll be eating something and I'm doing this with my own hand, you know, and vice versa.
It's incredible. I did a while ago when I was with you with your knockless arrows, and I thought about it because we had a bit of contact. And then I had one, I did a video, I forgot which one it was. And then I had these Koch knocks in my arrows and they always flew off. And then I made this joke, and you know, and when you don't have your knock, then you simply shoot knockless and bang, it didn't work because I didn't grab it properly with the air shit. So I edited it out. So nobody ever saw this one. So I need to practice properly first.
Jeff, how do you got that idea with the knockless arrows?
Well, like I'm saying, I was, looking on the internet like everybody does. When you first learn, you try different styles, you try different techniques. And for me, since I've been a martial artist for most of my life, I'm self-taught. I can pick up something and run with it, and I'll play around with it for a while until I figure it out. So I try, European, I try thumb draw, I try, then I start seeing indigenous people, Native Americans, they shoot nockless. And I was like, ooh, that was
really
interesting.
They really shoot nockless.
Yeah. So it stuck with me, and I was like, wow, that reminds me of the dexterity. So I just kept going, and then I added one. Then I started shooting multiple arrows, started forming my own style. Started going from one to manipulating two, and I realized, wait a minute, this is possible to get really, really fast doing this. Because the knock, you got to set it. It's so mechanical. You draw, you set. It's way too complicated. But what I noticed with this is that it all becomes one motion. It's just all one motion. So it seems to be one motion instead of mechanical.
I understand.
So for me personally, it was really easy for me to apply it. So you've seen the videos where I made different techniques, like for 2, for 3, different combinations for combat. That's basically what it's for. And you get a lot of people saying, "Oh, you can't use it for combat because you got guns and all this stuff and whatever." But I never looked at it like I was fighting the performance of a weapon. You got to fight the person. You're in combat with the person, his mind and everything in a fight. So if you can beat the person, then it's at least got a chance. You know what I mean? It's not like it's impossible anymore. It starts to become maybe it's possible. It goes from no way to maybe it's possible if I can, So that was my first goal. My first goal was just to perform like the best shooter at that level to see if it could actually, work. So So that's
fully understand.
I would feel way too insecure without my knocks.
I said I tried it once, and I was watching your video before how you hold them, because you have this special kind of grip that you guide them with your fingers on both sides of the string. But it's still, I started, of course, directly with my 40-pound keshik, and then the string snapped around and it made a loud bang. I dry fired the bow, so I need to practice properly with the low poundage first. But do you put something on the end of the arrow? It's just simply what arrows do you shoot?
Okay, I'll address that after I say something. Learning it, I dry fired so many times.
Okay.
So many times. It's natural. That's a natural progression.
Okay.
When you do that, you either win or learn. You never lose.
Exactly.
So as long as you learn something and you don't keep repeating that, you'll be all right.
Of course.
But to answer your question, I do put a little tape. I put a tape around the end of it for a couple reasons. When I'm grabbing it out of the quiver, I know exactly where the tip is by feeling. Because these are really smooth. I shoot only carbon. I only shoot carbon arrows.
Okay.
So it's so smooth. So sometimes you can just miss it totally. So it's got that little texture. Also, if you shoot a heavy bow with nockless, you got to be careful that the carbon doesn't chip. Because then you have an arrow that shatters. So reinforcing it with anything is a good idea.
Okay. And you don't cut the string with the carbon edge? No.
Okay. I do go through strings faster because I shoot all the time. So I can't really gauge it. I can't really answer that question if that does more damage or not, because I shoot so much. It's like I'm constantly going through strings anyway. But I think it could, because it's more of a blunt. But I never really thought about that. Just kind of, just get a break, phrase, get a new one.
I have a critical question, because so many archers, especially on the internet, are connecting archery to combat.
Yes.
And it's, in fact, it's very unrealistic, especially if you live in the United States. You easily can have a handgun or a firearm or something. So what is the idea today to use archery in combat? Why are so many people, and you are one example, thinking about doing like combat stuff with bow and arrow?
Okay. I can only speak for myself, so I can't generalize, because, but for myself personally, I do it just to see if it's possible, because I've been in martial arts for so long, and I love combat, and I work with weapons, and I'm always trying to get better. And whenever I get a new weapon like a bow and arrows, I just run with it. I get real passionate about it, and then I just get into it, and I just got that passion. But for me, that's the reason why, because I want to see if it is. People are saying, no, you can't shoot as fast as this. But I think that's based on perception and application. Because I'll give you an example. Like, people talk about, well, 2 arrows, you can't shoot 2 arrows at one time because one is stronger than the other. And, okay, now, mind you, this is correct, but most of these people don't have combat experience. They're talking from target shooting or something like this. They don't know about the application factor. I'll give you an example for that. Say, if you got hit in both eyes, it doesn't matter if this one went in 4 inches and this one went in 3.
Yeah.
Okay. If you're zone shooting, and you're trying to shoot as many up as fast as you can, shooting multiple simultaneously is very effective. If you're shooting fire arrows or smoke arrows or something like that, see, it's just based on how you apply it. These people that say these things, they get a concept like, oh, I learned something, so now I'm going to, prove this to themselves and to other people. But you don't. You're not proving anything, because you have the experience in combat or in trick shooting. See, I can't talk to you about hunting if I don't hunt. I can't talk about hunting if I don't hunt. So these people are talking, basically out of their butt,
And I have to kind of excuse me, because in that sense my question is stupid, because nobody would be would do kendo with a sword or axe throwing or knife throwing or something. It's also not realistic to fight with a sword today. But if you can do it, you can do it. That's, but are you also shooting firearms?
Yes. If you look on my Facebook, you'll see that I shoot rifles and stuff like that. I do it all. Anything that shoots, blowguns, I love it.
Same here.
Yeah. If I don't do it, then show it to me, and I'll do it.
I shouldn't unfold it, but I started archery because I loved shooting firearms, but here in Europe, in Austria, you can't do it without going to a shooting range. And so I always thought I have to shoot with something I can do in my garden. And that's why I, beside Robin Hood ideas and the old movies and so on, that was the reason. Okay, now you can shoot all day long if you like in your own garden. And that was a big idea behind archery for me.
I think it's also character. It's not just that you have a passion for sword or for martial arts, for combat. It's just your character, it draws you to that, like your background, your experience. So if you're military, you might be looking at something in that sense instead of target shooting. So it's just based on perception and application, like I said. People don't know how to apply it. That's why they question if it's possible, because they don't know.
You don't know this writer, but Armin knows him. In Germany, it was a German, and in Austria is a big tradition on Karl May.
Mhm.
You know, he was a writer who wrote about the Wild West and about Sahara adventure. He was an adventure writer, and I grew up with that guy, and so I knew I had to learn to shoot, to ride a horse, to swim, to fight with a knife, to have all these abilities all these heroes had back then. And that's what you're saying. If you're in a state of mind like that, if you grow up like that, you have to be like a cowboy or like an Indian or like, you know, a samurai or what you like. So yes, I think it gets planted in the early in young age in your head, or I don't know, in your heart maybe.
We're product of our environment. So if whoever you grow up around, the people you choose to hang around, that's what you're going to become. You know, so if you want to be a combat archer or a hunter, you hang around hunters and you learn from them.
Yeah.
You know, and people that don't sit back and say, "Whoa, I got statistics that prove that this goes this way." Yeah, statistically you're correct, but you're missing the part of application and perception and things like that. So
every statistic is a fake. Every statistic, I can prove everything with a statistic or with a, you know, asking people questions. And what do you think? When I ask you the right question, you will give me the answer I like to get. So you can prove everything with statistics.
Yeah, I wish the world was that way, you know, but it's not. You know, I wish that, you know, you could just, people have an opinion about everything, you know, and I wish they would just ask a question. Like, if I'm doing something that you think is wrong, or that you're not doing that right, you're cheating, or you're fast forwarding, or you're whatever, there's no way you can do that. I'd rather somebody talk to me and ask me questions, and then we can learn from each other, and we could, because we're both passionate about archery, you know. So, but you know, instead of judging somebody, just, you know, ask a question. How do you know that it doesn't work unless you try this? Do you even try it? Have you even tried it? No. I mean, come on, dude.
And it's even more important in my case if you're a writer, because you can't describe the feelings you have when you stalk through the woods, when you are smelling the wild boar in the thickets and so on. If you never had it, you're a faker, in my opinion. You have to try it. If you like to write about catching a fish, you have to fish. You have to try it.
Exactly. There's too many people out there that want to say how to do something, and they don't even know what they're talking about. You ask them one question, and they got to go Google it before they answer you.
Yeah.
I had it so often in the beginning with my YouTube channel. People always told me, listen, you do it wrong. You need to do it like this and like this. I said, look, I might be wrong. Simply take a video, post it on YouTube, and then we can watch it. You never saw anything, obviously, but it's, of course, this is nowadays. We had this discussion even with Murat, and it's simply you expose yourself with your skills on these platforms, and then you have these couch experts that know everything better, that didn't most probably have even a bow and arrow ever in your hands, but they know everything better. Yes, it's what you have to deal with.
And it was back then with books, it was the same, but now it's even worse, because Google shows you that stuff they like to show you.
Of course.
So if you Google something, is this wrong? Is this right? How is it? You don't know if it's true.
You always get an answer for what you think you want to see. You find, of course. You always find there.
I often say, step back. If you hear something, step back, think about logics, think about, is it possible? How can it be? How is the circumstances, and the most important thing, how are humans? So you can say that could be true, or that could be not true, or so.
I saw your video where you was, I believe, in China or Korea or somewhere, shooting balloons and stuff.
Yeah.
Now, instead of just saying, "Oh, there's no way." If you see Peter, that's fake. It's all on TV. That's real easy to do.
Yeah.
But you know, if I'm only human like everybody else. If I'm doing something wrong, why not talk to me, ask me, teach me? You know, I mean, let's have a conversation. You know, I mean, because that's how you learn. I mean, unless you ask questions, you're not going to learn anything.
Yeah, yeah, and you have to find the most the most clever person, the smartest person you can reach and ask them. That's why when I started archery, first I read about Sexton Pope and his stuff, you know, Dr. Pope and Arthur Young, but then fast enough I found out about Howard Hill, and I thought, okay, this guy could do everything with the bow and the arrow, with a bow and an arrow. And so if I like to learn it the best way, I have to listen to this guy, not to all the talkers and fakers and squealers, just because he did everything. He hunted, he did target archery, flight archery, everything you imagine he did with the bow and arrow. And so you have to find the best person to ask questions. And that's a good opinion of yours, Jeff, always asking, always. You learn every day, you learn.
Exactly. I agree 100%. I just don't understand the separation in archery. Like I can see there's people that do heavy bows. There's people that do speed shooting, trick shooting. But every category seems to think in some way or another that they're superior or better than somebody else. We've all been there. We've all been there, you know? And that's how you learn, one thing at a time. I can't learn your style, his style, and his style all at the same time. I have to do one thing at a time.
Yeah. And it's like a religion. These English warbow shooters practice that like a religion, and that's the only thing. The Eastern guys say, "Oh, these Western shit bows, we have these composite bows."
So true. Yes. So true.
And that's stupid. That's so stupid.
Of course, it's stupid. But Murat said it nice. Murat Öztürk said, you know, archery is like a tree. You know, you have this big trunk, and then you have big branches, you have smaller branches and twigs and leaves. But it's all archery, and it's always, of course. Maybe this combat style is only for a very small application, but better I can do it and I never need to use it, that I'm in a situation where it would save my life and I'm not capable of doing it. So this is what I always see from martial arts. That's why I better train more and know more, or can be good in many applications. Then they can come to me and I know how to respond. Only when I say, oh, I'm an English longbow archer and I can only shoot at distance or whatever, it doesn't help when then 3 guys come close to me and I need to throw my bow away because I don't know what to do. So that's why for me, it's always application, and better I know it than and can perform it. And
it's not 100%, mind you, it's not 100% that I or anybody else is thinking actually that we're going to use this for combat. You know, but it's just that it becomes your character. Like I said, if you grew up in certain, you know, learning certain things, martial arts, military, it's a natural progression when you get another weapon, is to see what its capabilities are, performance, everything, and you compare it and say, okay, if I didn't have a gun, if I didn't have anything else, and I had this bow.
Exactly.
You know what, on Saturday, on Saturday evening, what movie I watched? Rambo, the Mission, the second Rambo movie.
Nice.
With the compound bow. Oh,
nice.
Now, it's like a saint for archers, because in every movie, except in the first, I think he uses bow and arrow. I like him.
Now I know you hunt, so you shoot crossbows and compounds and stuff like that. But what about you, Armin? Do you use compound bows or?
I learned archery with a compound bow.
Nice.
My first bow was an old brown bear from Fredbear, this old vintage compound. From a friend of mine, he gave it to me. It was way too heavy. I did everything wrong I could possibly do because nobody taught me how to shoot. But yeah, that was my first bow I had for a few months and shot like every day, like crazy.
My first one was an old Jennings compound bow. Yeah, but I always shoot them blank.
Yeah, of course. On this, there
instinctively,
were no
without
sight
without the sight.
from the shelf, not even an arrow rest
Yeah.
from the
I
shelf.
shoot it
directly.
like a traditional bow. It was just a compound bow.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
When I started shooting compounds and hunting with my brother, me and my brother was hunting together. I just saw it as an opportunity to train on my other side, be ambidextrous. So I'm generally right-handed, but when I got the compound bow, I said, why don't I just get, left-handed and learn it that way. And then I could see from both sides, why this is the dominant eye and why this is not, and actually learn more about archery, because I always striving to be more proficient. So any weapon that I get, I try to take it to that next level, so I can be better archer. Not to be better than anybody else, just I'm
better than you were yesterday. Yeah, of course.
I think it's especially in archery what we are talking about, but it is true for everything.
Yeah.
If you are able to pick a lock, if you are able to start the car, with the cables, if you are able to make fire with some stone, or if you're able to sew around a wound or something, everything you learn, you never know. One day, maybe you need it. And if not, then you go to hell and knowing, oh, I was able to do a lot of things and it was fun.
What's the purpose? What's the purpose if not to learn? I mean, if we just sit here, we don't learn anything. I mean, it makes no sense. It's a waste of life, So if you have a passion for something, just do it. Don't worry about what other people think about it. Okay. Just go for it, man. Enjoy it. Be happy.
I think the unhappiest people are the people which are not curious about everything. When I see some interesting thing, oh, I have to find out more. That's interesting. Yeah. And it doesn't matter which stuff it is. If it's about books, okay, or about knives, or about, I don't know, about the pyramids, about everything. Right. And I love it. And so you never get bored in your life, because there's so many new things. Oh, I never heard about this. Oh,
but Peter, it was me too, years, centuries ago. And I started digging and I started asking questions, and you meet people, and now you tell me always I'm the conspiracy theorist. Because once you dig deeper than mainstream media tells you, you find things where you wish you would not have seen and known, but then you know them, and all of a sudden, this bigger picture makes sense. And then, now I'm the conspiracy theorist. So this is what I get from my curiosity.
You know what? Sorry, Jeff.
I was agreeing. You are.
Thank you.
I mean,
I take it as a compliment.
My opinion is this. Lots of people who are alternative or conspiracy theorists, they are staying in their bubble and just listening to that conspiracy stuff. Yeah. And I do the opposite. I listen to the other people and try to find out, okay, could this conspiracy be true? And if the mainstream has no clever or smart arguments, I think about, okay, that could be true. So, and it's bad for the conspiracy society or bubble, because there are many really crazy guys around. As we said before, reptiloids, and what, and the earth is flat, and so on, and you're immediately, if you say, oh, maybe Kennedy wasn't shot by Lee Harvey Oswald, you're in that pot where the reptiloid believers are.
When this is simply when you start questioning the mainstream opinion, or what mainstream tells you, when you question it, which is our natural right to do, then you already nowadays a conspiracy theorist.
Yeah. In Europe, if you say, maybe that Corona thing, they did too much. It isn't as dangerous as they say in the mainstream. They say you are a Nazi.
Yeah.
Really, they say you're a Nazi. You're a right-winger Nazi because you say maybe it's a bad, sometimes deadly flu.
Yeah. Yeah.
In the same moment, you are a right-winger.
Yeah.
That's why pursuing excellence instead of perfectionism is what I try to focus on, because when you have an ego, you know, when that ego will not allow you to question those things. When you sit and say, oh, I'm the fastest archer in the world, for instance, now you're not going to be able to perceive that I can shoot faster or do something better than you, because your ego will not allow it. Okay. Because you're not in that mindset of asking, okay, how is this possible? And let's explore this. And you're trying to learn and pursue excellence. So, I mean, ego, bad thing. Ego
and to some conspiracies or to some theories, you have to say, oh no, that is bullshit. That can't be true. And if you're making a mistake, you say, oh, I used to believe this, but now I found out it's bullshit.
Right.
You have to say it, and you have to change your mind about, and everything is okay.
If you are strong, it's no problem. It's only the weak minds, they have a big ego, and of course for them it's tough.
And the weak people are the dangerous. It's like with dogs. A big dog must not bite you. You have respect, but a small dog bites you because he has to. Otherwise you wouldn't accept the small dog. And it's the same with people, in my opinion.
I could follow you.
The weaklings are dangerous.
Yep. So
I think Ronald Reagan said this, never be weak, because weakness leads other people to doing bad things.
Yeah, kind of.
Some or similar.
I can see what you mean. I can see what you mean.
Yeah.
So Armin, when you made a video of you, I'm sorry, you can't shoot on this side. That killed me. It killed me, man. I loved it. I loved it. You was like, you can't shoot on this side. No.
Yeah.
No.
I was bored. It was a new archery range we had. Yes, I know. And then I was bored. I had to do something. Yeah, of course. Yep, this is simply a daily thing. I still get messages and comments. What teacher are you? You have the arrow on the wrong side, or you have the cock feather not outside, and all these discussions. And then I do videos about it and I had times where my ego was a little bigger and I started arguing with them. And now does I simply say, oh yeah, it's your opinion, fine. And I leave them because
watch another channel.
It's waste of time to argue with these people. They have their opinion, and why I'm not here to change their opinions.
Yeah, comment on like-minded friends and people that know what's going on in your circle. Anybody else? I mean, it's just a waste of time, because I don't have, they want me to go live. They want me to do this. They want me to show them in person. They want me. I don't have the time to teach everybody or to show everybody just so they're happy. You know what I mean? I got a life too.
Exactly.
Jeff, a question: Are you friends with other archers, or are you teaching in reality? Some.
Just you guys.
Two guys.
Just you two.
No, I feel so honored now.
Oh, thank you, Sensei.
No,
wouldn't it be a good idea?
I talked to Kazmai Mihai. I respect him a lot. He's very smart. He's a great horseback archer. I've been following him for a while. Other than that, as far as archers, you two guys, I follow you guys all the time. Always comment on your stuff. I love your.
Thank you, Jeff. Thank you.
I love the way you look at things, not too serious, and you're curious and you want to learn, and that's how I am. So I'm drawn to that kind of personality. But certain archers that's out there, we don't have to get into, that have egos, or I don't talk to people like that. I don't associate with people that doesn't benefit, me in a healthy way, you know what I mean? Constructively.
And I just can repeat it. I think there's no cool archery talk around. So as you said, we don't taking it too serious. We're making fun or say, oh, you talk bullshit. That's a different way and so on. And I think it's a great idea to make a talk like that. And to invite people like you and another guy and a woman and so on. And we talk and don't just nice talking, but if I think you talk bullshit, I say, I can't believe what is he saying or so. And I think that's great.
I respect when somebody comes up and says, hey, what you're doing is bullshit, because then we can have a conversation. But when somebody talks behind your back, that's grade school. That's like, kindergarten stuff,
and maybe he has a good point. Maybe he has a good point why he says I'm doing bullshit. Maybe I have to think, maybe he's right. I don't know. Yeah.
Right. But unless you talk about it, if I don't give you an opportunity to talk back to me or to ask me questions, and I just throw a comment out there, I mean, nobody learns anything.
Yeah.
That's why, I'm very appreciative. Thank you a lot for letting me come on this broadcast with you, because this platform is exactly what we need. We need where people, different styles, different age, different ethnicity, different background can get together and actually talk about these things that we're all struggling with. All archers are struggling with the same thing. If you drop the ego and just talk to somebody, hey, guess what? You might learn something.
Yeah.
And besides archery, it's so interesting to have people from different states and countries. I can, how is it in Kentucky? How is it in Malta? And how is it over there? And that's great. So you always, you're really connected, and you can hear the stuff firsthand, not, oh, I read it in the newspapers or somewhere. No, I can ask you what is going on in Kentucky and so on.
Same
That's
with
the good thing.
Saracen archery, or the Arab archery book, something like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
No disrespect or anything to the writers or anybody that likes that, but some people act like it's biblical, and the only book that transcends time is the Bible. Books are written on current events, current times, and this and that. So people take it a few hundred years, few thousand years later and say, this is the way you shoot. Yeah, it's a good way to shoot. It's a good way to learn.
Maybe.
But yeah, if you like that thing, but that is not the only way to shoot. It's not biblical.
It's not the gospel.
It's not.
Exactly.
We've advanced, we've evolved, so we got better technology. So when people have this mindset of, no, you can't shoot 5 arrows at one, okay, well, why not? Just because you say so, or just because somebody 500 years ago that didn't have the technology or experience or, whatever that we have.
They didn't know a lot about their brains, what we know today about vision and everything. They had another environment, another state of education and so on.
Yeah, and I'm for role playing too. Like some people talk about, armor and in combat, and they like, can this penetrate this armor and this and that? And I'm in combat, so I'm like, I'll entertain that, in a conversation. But in true application, if I was to think about what they're saying, then I would either say I accept it or I don't, but I might not necessarily tell that person that, because if somebody is out to just, disrespect you or try to, make you look a certain way, I'm not going to waste my time. Generally, I'm not going to waste my time.
I'm often so bored about that armor thing, because it was 1,000 years and 5,000 years ago. It was the same thing like today. You only could shoot through armor by surprise, because the next battle they had thicker armor. Like today, if they have a bazooka who goes through a tank, the tank drivers will say, okay, make another steel plate in front of that tank. They shot us, they shot through our tank. So it's stupid. Nobody would shoot through armor if there's not a new development of weaponry or something like that.
Yeah.
Of course, when they first introduced the Botkin points, maybe that chain armor wearers were surprised. Oh, they shoot with the chain armor, but not for long. Of course not.
Yeah, that's why I said that about the Saracen archery and books like that, is that they're not modern books. It's not about what's going on current. Like our armor now, bullet resistance, bulletproof, fire resistance, fireproof, all these different things we have now that withstand a blast from machine guns, RPGs. And you can't shoot an arrow that's going to hit harder than an RPG. I'm sorry, you can't do it. So to sit here and have that frame of mind like 500 years ago and say, oh, you can't do this, you can't do that. They couldn't, but maybe we can, and you got to have that open mind to be able to do this. Because if you don't have an open mind, then you're just going to be in that little box. And you ain't going to go nowhere, but in that little box, you ain't going to learn nothing.
Maybe we should write a book about archery in 2020 and
archery, how it really is
with all application. Because it's true. You always like, even the other book with the way of archery describes this one teaching from Gao Ying, and now there is a big group. They only shoot this Gao Ying method in exactly with this whatever. But it's not the only way, and it might not even be the best way to shoot. But it's now so glorified because this, luckily, was a complete. So they have the complete book of this general, what he wrote down. So that's why they are so happy. They have something to hold on.
Religion, like a religion.
And that's why. But and as said, and as you just said, Jeff, and nowadays it's different. Archery is different now than it was 500 years ago. When things are possible now, they were not possible in this time due to techniques or due to material or whatever. So maybe we should write the book about the archery now.
How it really is.
First, I want to test some theories that I have.
Yeah.
What are our capabilities? What are we capable of doing in archery? So I love speed, because I've been in martial arts, and I do a lot of. So speed is one of my things. So when I got to bow, it just came natural. Because when I box a lot. All the motions that I do with everything is. So I've been conditioned, muscle memory and everything, unintentionally for archery. Archery just fit me like a glove. So when I started archery, it just seemed so much easier. It just seemed natural.
Because you're coordinated, your body is coordinated.
I didn't have to learn all of those steps that a beginner would have to learn, balance, stance. So
leaning through the target, or like boxing. I sometimes to my archery clients, I say, think about the boxer. If the box is like that and not like that, if the box is like that, it's not a good situation. A box has to be like that. And in shooting, you have to be the same. You have to be lean forward through the target, to the opponent, and so on. I want to mention one more thing we said in the past, because you said it's Saracen archery, or how it is called, Gao Jin, or I don't know. You have to remember, everyone should remember, especially in these old days, and military and combat based books are 90, and we talked about with Murat, they are propaganda books. So the opponents say, oh, they're the best archers around, so we have to think about that were propaganda books. No, we even don't know if some, like Murat said, they have to prove if it is possible, like you said, Jeff. We don't know. I had a funny idea, maybe today, what you're saying, Jeff, we are capable to do more. We are capable to do stuff they only wrote but never tried, but just wrote it for propaganda. And nowadays we can do it because we say, is it possible? We try. You train it and you can do it. Yep.
Just one thing, just the introduction to guns alone. Okay, if you go back in time and all you have to pull from is bow and arrows, axes, things like that, supposedly, which we don't know. We're just going by, you know, historical. But
Yep.
Just the introduction to guns alone changed the mindset of the archer. You know, because now you have something else. It's a different challenge. It's a different perception. You know, you have something. Back then, it's like, hey, we're both fighting with knives. We're both fighting with clubs, you know? But then when you get this and you get that, the wheels start turning. You start being creative. You start being inventive, you know? And that's a lot different nowadays than back then. You know, people try to seem superior by talking about, you know, I know how to do this and I know how to do that. But there's a real big hole in what they're saying. You know, and they can't cover it, no matter how many, you know, how much BS they, you know, you can't cover it. You know,
I also think we have a big misunderstanding how people in the past were, and also because of the movies and because of Hollywood and all that stuff, how people really are. And you can be sure. 3,000 years ago, if they were able to avoid to fight or violence, they avoided it. If they could, if they could talk to another person, say, look, let's make it that or this or that way, they didn't fight. We always have the picture, these were violent people and they just killed one another. Oh, yes, that happened, of course. But they were not different than we are today. And no mafiosi would kill you just for fun. He knows that leads to problems. And even back then, they knew when I killed that guy from that other tribe, that leads to problems. So they were not as cruel or as how you call it, I don't know. They were not like we think or we see it in the movies. They are torturing a guy just for fun. No, never. They did it on a special purpose, maybe, but not because they're so bad and evil and violent. Of course. And that's a misconception, I think, many people have in their head.
In my time, I was born in the 70s, so I've seen everything, man, so far. We didn't have cell phones. We didn't have computers. We didn't have none of that stuff. You know, we had 8 tracks, you know, we had, you know, vinyls. And just in the last 50 years, you see all this stuff that's become obsolete. Everything goes away, 8 track, CD, you know, I mean, cassettes, CDs, and so on and so forth. Now, you give it another 1,000, 2,000 years, if we haven't blew up, you know, our planet, we're going to be the same as how we're viewing those people right now. All these people that, you know, maybe they'll be laughing at some of the stuff we do, like it's prehistoric, or some, you know, they'll be, maybe this is fake, you know, maybe he did this and it's not real, it's propaganda. So it's continuance, because no one is really organizing, you know, any of it. It's just in school, you learn a portion of this person, Abraham Lincoln, this is what you learn. The president, he assassinated, that's how much you learn. There's so much more, so much more characteristics about that makes a person, but they only tell you 1 or 2 things, and that's all you learn. So this is how you perceive, you know, your history, which, like you say, a lot of it's propaganda. We don't know. We wasn't there. You know, all this stuff could be based on lies. We don't know nothing. You know?
Once I had a girlfriend. She said, "Oh, go to the theater with me. Go to the theater with me. It's culture. It's so fun." And I said, "No, I never get to go to the theater. Think about Lincoln."
I knew you was going to go somewhere dark. I knew you was going to go there. I knew it.
And that was also a big conspiracy, no, with Lincoln.
Of course.
But that was just an example. I mean, there's so many examples. Like I was talking about applications of people. I give a couple examples. There are a lot more examples, but we don't have, you know, all day. You know, like I could just go on and on and on about it. But people that just say, well, Armin, you can't shoot on the right side, or Peter, you can't shoot that crossbow, or this and that. It's about what you do, what you love, what you're passionate about. You do it. It doesn't matter what other people think, man. It's crazy.
Yeah, and because you said about the crossbows, some criticize me because I have a picture where I'm holding a crossbow. It's a picture. They don't know the story. They don't know. It was a big event. We had 3 target stands with bow and arrow, and also 1 stand with crossbow shooting.
Yeah.
And because all the bows were packed away, I took this crossbow and posed and thought, oh, how can you hold a crossbow? So stupid. You see a picture and you never know the story, the whole story.
I could have been shooting with Armin, and I said, hey, Peter, here, hold my crossbow for a minute. Then somebody take a picture.
Jeff, hold my cigarette. Oh, Jeff is smoking. Same thing. Yeah.
Exactly. Because people they see and hear what they want to see.
Yeah. And that's how the media today is making their stuff up, because you see one small frame from the world they like to show you, and look, this poor child was drowned in the in the Mediterranean Sea. You remember, I mean, the poor boy. One picture, and it changed everything.
Yeah, it could separate one thing if it's a white kid or a black kid or Asian kid. At the right time in history, that can be a totally different story.
Of course.
Yep.
I mean, totally. You could be like, hey, we're best friends. He hits me, I hit him. We're boys. We're growing up. That's what we do. But you get that person takes that picture, takes it out of context.
Yeah.
Like you do with archery.
Yeah. Look, he beats a black one up. Yeah.
Yeah. They take that one thing out of what you're saying and then present it. You can't do that. You can't take stuff out of context like that.
I'm just thinking at the moment about big boxing matches between a white guy and a black guy, if they could do it today without saying, oh, look at this white race, he's beating that black guy up in the ring. Maybe it's forbidden now.
I'm just saying that the way people perceive things is it can divide people because or it can bring you together, and archery has all different types of people from all over the world, and I consider them all my brothers and sisters because we love archery and we're passionate about the same thing. So if you come to me and talk to me, I already view you as my brother or sister. So I'm going to talk to you. But as long as you talk to me with respect, you come at me with something stupid, then, I'll just talk to Armin or somebody else.
Yeah. And in fact, there's no such thing like race or something like that. All we are humans. Some have another color, some have this and that, but it doesn't matter. The real racists are the people talking about racism.
Of course.
That's my opinion, because to me it doesn't matter if a black guy stabs me or a yellow guy or a white guy. If he stabs me, he's a bad guy, and if he don't stabs me, he's a good guy.
Yeah, if people feel something or think a certain way, I mean, you should be honest about it instead of trying to pretend like there's a lot of people around here that will talk to you because you're a certain way, but then when they're around other people, they talk differently. Yeah. And that's part of the problem, because as adult, you should have learned already how to communicate with people, how to tell people how you feel, I could be wrong. I could say something, I could misstep, I could say something, but if you're talking to someone, you can apologize and you can communicate. But if you're just going to throw things at people out of context and slander, it's not going to get anywhere. A lot of stuff is not getting anywhere because no one's listening to each other. They're just saying stuff, and no one's really listening with their hearts or their minds, you know?
And every day, in my opinion, every day you have to question if you're right,
Yeah.
if that what you are thinking is okay, if that makes sense. And if you stay with some kind of ideology or I don't know, political idea, and you don't think every day, is it right? Is it okay? Is this idea good? You're lost, because then you're strictly following like a religion, like if they say just Kudo is the Valhalla of archery, or just longbows, or just
Yeah,
I
but
don't know.
it's this easy thing for weak people and ego-minded people. They have then something they can follow. They don't have to think about, and they don't have to take responsibility for their own decisions and actions, because we all do it like this. So I am doing the right thing. When they all jump down the cliff, he jumps too because he thinks there's the right thing. It's fine. And it's simply weakness. And it's, of course, it's even produced and it's wanted when you see what mass media is doing,
and it's comfortable. It's comfortable. You lay down, you watch television, and you say, oh, okay, that's how it is. And it's so simple. And
it's how it is. But this is, I think, we can't change. We can only live our life, or I can live my life how I want. And it's done. I can't do anything more.
Yeah.
And talking about maybe some people are start to think.
That's why sometimes I make a post even on Facebook, and but you know,
I got banned for 3 days because I said to an asshole that he's a communist. Mobbing.
We mob.
Terrible mobbing.
Usually religion or government, anything about politics or religion, I usually don't comment on a lot unless it hits something personal with me, because there's so much, deep feelings about things nowadays. Everybody's really sensitive, and I don't want to, misrepresent what I feel. I can't take the time and explain to everybody how I feel about everything, every issue, because I can claim something and say it's this, and I could be misinformed. Maybe I don't know what I'm talking about. And that just aids to the whole, propaganda, because I watched the CNN or something and I seen this and I say, okay, I repeat it to Armin. And Armin repeats it to Peter. Next thing you know it, Peter's getting yelled at, online, getting banned from, because of that, and you don't know. I mean, you really don't know if the information you're getting is correct or not unless you take the time and study and learn something, get outside your box and learn, it's the only way.
The cause, the thing, because I was banned was, there was a documentation about hate speech against women on social media. And I wrote, I think that more men are delivering or receiving hate speech than women, because women post little cats and stuff, and men are posting more political and so on stuff. And that was enough. Then they called me everything from a Nazi to a woman hater and so on. If you just step one little step aside from the mainstream, no, women are poor, they get hate speech more than men. I don't think it's true. You have just to think a little, you ask your logics and say, no, I don't think that women are getting more hate speech than men. I don't believe it.
Sometimes you got to pick your battles, Peter. Sometimes you got to pick your battles. Is it really important for me to, say something right now?
Yeah. But I can't keep it. I'm getting so angry because they say something and it's like that. No, it's just propaganda, everything.
Even though they use this platform and everybody can comment on it, you got to kind of think of what they're trying to say. You know, if they're saying that this person's lives matter or this person's lives matter, they're not ignoring that everybody is, you know, matters, but they're saying something that they feel strong about, and you should be considerate towards that and what they're feeling. So you got to kind of watch when you say something, how you say it, because you gotta say, okay, where are they coming from? What are they trying to say before you make a comment? Because it's obvious, you know, obviously everybody matters, but you know, if you're going to try to belittle somebody just by saying something else that hurts their feelings unintentionally, it might be unintentionally. You got to pick it.
I'm so fed up because all different groups get victimized. So the women are victims of the men, I don't know, the Koreans are victims of the Chinese, and the Chinese are victims, I don't know. And the gays are victims of the non-gays, and everybody's a victim, and look how bad it is. No, it's like it is. And if you don't like hate speech, why are you on social media?
Yeah, everybody has an opinion. Everybody has an opinion, and it gets really hard, especially if you're following 5, 10, 15 different things, 10, 15 different topics. What's happening in this part of the world, what's happening this part of the world, and it's hard to keep it all together because you can't learn every single thing. What are these people going through? I don't know. So I'm going to make a comment, what I think from outside the box. That's not going to get you anywhere. That's going to get in an argument real fast because you don't understand what these people are going through or, you know, feel. You don't have to worry about getting shot or worry about this or that every day. So for you to say something like that, it's almost like it's, you know, man, I don't want to go there.
Okay. So let's talk about archery.
Yeah, that's hard. It's hard. You just pick your battles, man, you know?
Yeah, but on the other hand, I think I can't keep silent. Or if you see some bullshit, it's your duty to say something. In my opinion, I can't keep it all the day, always.
I try to listen first. I try to listen and see what they're saying entirely, not just a part or why you're mad, like on some, you know, but I try to just listen, see what I can get from that, and then make a, you know, calculated guess. And then, because if I just comment right off the top of my head, you know, that's just going to get you in trouble, you know? And
in my opinion, all the world, at least in our Western world, I don't know, we need some more stoicism, you know, like the way of a warrior is. A warrior wouldn't put all his emotions out into the world. And then I cried, and then I did this. Oh, I felt so hurt. And it's so overemphasized or over emotionalized, or I don't know how to call it. And that's a horrible thing. You have to think about, oh, that could hurt that person if I say that's bullshit what you're saying. No, I say it's bullshit. And if you get hurt, then think about yourself. Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, there's constructive criticism. And if you're an adult, you should be able to have a conversation with someone.
Yeah.
I mean, if I have a disagreement with what you say, we should be able to argue or have a conversation and come to a conclusion instead of letting it escalate to a fight or to a war or something like that. But,
or to say, oh, now he discriminated me because he has another opinion like mine.
Yeah.
Stupid.
I know. But we, you know.
Be happy, Jeff, that you're in Kentucky. Believe me.
You're very passionate. You're very passionate about your opinion, and I respect that. But you know, sometimes you got to, like I said, you got to think ahead, man. Like, pick your battle. If it's not important, if it's not getting you anywhere, then, I mean, don't even bother.
Jeff, I get what you say, but if everyone says, okay, I keep it, I don't say anything, so the assholes and the crazies will rule like it is.
I know, but we're not talking about one isolated incident. You can't take on the whole world. Like if me and you had an argument, that's one thing. We can talk. But I'm talking if you're constantly getting the same response and the same things are happening, you got to kind of question why they keep happening to me.
Yeah.
It goes both ways. So you got to kind of think about that as well.
If you are in trouble with every person, you should think about yourself. That's like what
look at yourself first. Look at yourself first before you look at others. Put the blame. Don't put blame on people.
Yeah. I agree.
So this is an archery broadcast.
Yeah. The Dalai Lama should say something about archery.
Dalai Lama fallen asleep. What?
Yeah. We're just three old men just rambling on about shit.
Yeah. Having opinions and not being able to have opinions, or not allowed to have opinions, or not communicate or your opinions. For my case, simply sometimes I got less when I make my comments. Sometimes I simply think, what other chance? You only have one voice and make yourself heard. So you need to sometimes, when you see this bullshit going on, sometimes you need to make a comment, because people, and I see it daily outside, they believe this bullshit from mainstream media. And they really, and when you tell them, look, they tell you the snow is black, and you show them, look, but the snow is white. No, they told me it's black, so it's black. It's obvious, you see it, and you state only the obvious, but they don't even see it anymore. So brainwashed they are. So that's why it's for me as a human being, for the other humans, if we sometimes not fight for some things, then we lose a really big battle here. And that's why sometimes I make my comments, which of course are then again conspiracy theory and whatever. But of course, funny thing is that things I said 2 years ago are now all real. So conspiracy, I need new conspiracy theories, because my old ones are turned all into realities.
I have one funny example. Last weekend, my girlfriend told me she has seen a documentary about Russia. And there are, no, let's start in another way. All we know that Greenpeace and Global 2000 ad spots, that tigers are endangered. There are just a few tigers left on Earth, and they are dying all, and there are no tigers around.
Because they watched an interview with Greta.
Yeah.
And of course,
my girlfriend saw I don't know, a German or Austrian documentary about Siberian tigers in Russia, and there are so many tigers because they are prohibited, protected, that they go into the towns and eat the dogs of the people. So okay, now what is true? Are they about to die off from Earth, or are there so many that they went into the towns and eat the little the little dogs from the ladies? I don't know. Stupid, no?
I have no clue.
I don't know. Save the tigers. I don't know.
Yeah, let's talk about archery. This is where we have a bit more clues, I guess.
When we talk about, when you edit this, just make sure you edit a lot of this old man talk.
No.
It all stays in there. I'm getting lazy with editing, and people who don't like it, they don't watch it anyway. And the others, they like what we ramble about. So it's fine. If they don't like it, then they can give a thumbs down and complain that it took 10 minutes until we started talking about archery, and then we always talk about Corona and whatever. But it's that's why it's a talk. It's not and I'm not the moderator here. We simply sit here like we sit in a pub having a beer, and we simply talk. mostly about archery because we're archers and it's an archery talk. But of course, you scratch on this topic on this, and sometimes you go astray, and it's fine too.
Yeah, that's why I like your guys' show, because it's real. You know, it's like it's not scripted.
Yeah.
You know, you learn not just, okay, I see Peter shooting, and I know he can shoot a balloon, and I know you can shoot thumb draw, but you get to know the individual a little bit more,
Exactly.
that person, and their, you know, the archer, the way
And
they
how,
think.
and if I ask only questions about, you know, then you don't get there.
Yeah.
In a quick section, 5 minutes, like this talk now, you know more about how a person is ticking, how a person is, and that's why it's okay too.
Exactly. Exactly.
Armin, I have to ask you again, because when we started the recording, you ate something.
Before, yes, yeah.
What do you had?
I had a falafel wrap.
What is a falafel?
Oh my, it's something Arabic. This from chickpeas.
Some racist stuff.
This is chickpeas. You boil and mash chickpeas, and you put some spices in it, and then you make some balls and you fry them.
I understand. You know why I'm asking? Because
No,
I found out, because I'm sorry, I'm just getting back into little conspiracies. Today, you know what I had? I had a nice shark steak, you know, from a shark. And I can unfold, it's really true. Dolphins get killed for when they fish the sharks, because I found that little dolphin
I understand.
in the shark steak, you know.
I understand.
So it's true. That's
Yeah,
the true conspiracy.
Fully understand.
Yeah.
You know, you need to understand. Last week he ate some bat soup, and it was had a little effect on some certain.
Yeah, a lot of effect up here.
Yeah, you know, you said that, not chef. I only said it had an effect. So
I'm just joking with you, Peter.
Pardon?
I'm just joking with you.
No. Yes, of course, do it. You know, humor and making jokes and fun, it's important. I think so.
Don't take life and yourself so seriously. We all don't get out of this alive.
Exactly.
We all will die at the end. So, but what people now do is they stop living because they are afraid to die.
Yeah.
But they will die anyway one day. So instead of living every day, every moment to the full maximum what you're capable, they stop living and wait for something.
Yeah.
But what can I say?
You're
I want to start rambling again now.
You know how rich we all are, that we have a passion and we can actually live life, experience and sharing our passion with other.
But the thing is, everybody can do it, because then they get jealous of you. Oh, the life you live, you know, you moved to Malta, you know, you left Germany. Said yes. Every day there are at least 10 planes going from Germany to Malta. Everybody can do it. Yeah, but I cannot do it because of blah, blah, blah. You see? Because of your reasons. But everybody can. We all know trees. We don't have roots. We all can go if we don't like it.
Exactly.
You know,
we all have the same chances, of course, more maybe a bit easier, more maybe a bit less. But if you really want something in your life, not your ego, of course, you can achieve it, I believe.
100%.
You know, he's not looking like this, but in fact, Armin is a real kind of hippie. I go to Malta to the girls and so on.
Not the girls. I was 1 year in Lebanon, and I liked the weather in Lebanon. And then I went back to Germany, and I was in Sylt. It's almost Denmark.
Well, also where the girls are.
It got September and it got October, and I will die there, because in the afternoon at 3 it was already dark. I said I need to go somewhere south, and I saw Italy. I don't speak Italian. Sicily would be nice, and I saw this small spot in the Mediterranean Sea. What's that? I need to zoom in on the map. Oh, there is an island, Malta, and I speak English. I fly there.
Yeah.
You know, Jeff, what he said, that Sylt is a very small island belonging to Germany, and it's full of the richest girls around from all Germany. And that's where Armin went to because of the weather.
because a friend of mine had their own
But it's
archery
so
range and I was
needless there.
working for him. What's the problem?
No problem.
And a lot of
Clever
these
guy.
nice girls brought me always cafe and cake to the archery range because
Oh,
the range was a little outside of everything. And I always said, listen, when you come back and pick up your kids, a coffee would be nice.
You
And then they
bet.
came with a big tray with a black coffee, espresso, cappuccino, latte, whatever, because they didn't know what I like. So they brought everything.
Topless, I imagine.
You get used to it, Chef. You get used to it. I don't even answer these things anymore. You know?
Yeah, just push him off on me. That's what you're going to do from now on.
No. I said you get used to his kind of that it's always about women, always topless, and about yeah, it's fine. It's okay.
Yeah, I watch your show. I know.
So back to archery finally, guys, shall we?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you did today a video and you shot 5 arrows in 1 second. How many tries did it take, or was it first try? Because you looked surprised by yourself. You shot and you were like, wait, I did it.
Because it was about 3 o'clock in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
I usually shoot, I stay up most of the night just shooting.
Mm-hmm.
So I decided that I want to make the video now.
Mm-hmm.
And I made that video about 2 years ago, and it was real choppy. It was bad film. It was no good, and people tore it up. It's too dark. You can't see it. It's fake. So I took it down.
Mm-hmm.
And then later on, I figured, okay, I'm gonna get better lighting. I'm gonna put it up close. So everybody can see what I'm doing. They can't say that I'm not doing it. They can see how I'm doing it. And that particular time to do that, it took me like 3 times to do it.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
Wow.
Usually it doesn't take me that long. Usually I can get it first or second try, but
Mm-hmm.
I've been shooting for, probably about 3 or 4 hours before that.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, but that particular time. So if I'm just wake up and, I haven't shot all day, no problem. The first, second time, no problem.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe there's like a group, like that anonymous alcoholics, like the anonymous archers who can't sleep and have to get up and shoot all night. Oh, I have done it again.
I can't sleep. Look, see these things, I go everywhere with these. When I go to bed, I'm constantly, you just don't realize how infectious it is, because once you start shooting away and you're really passionate about it, you can't think about anything else, man. You can't do anything else. Like when I'm talking to you, this is in my hand. I'm just constantly in my brain, I'm shooting, visualizing.
I said it before, but have you ever thought about doing magic tricks? Because you have really nice finger coordination. You could do a lot of cut tricks or something like that, no?
Yeah, that's not my thing. Magic is not my thing. But to get back to the 5
You
arrows,
could do it.
that's actually not as, that technique is the second technique that I learned to shoot fast. And I liked it a lot better because the nockless is so easy. Wait, Armin, when you try it, you're going to see what I'm talking about.
I really need to take my time now and need to try that, yeah. So you simply use carbon arrows, you remove the knock and you wrap a little tape around it.
Yeah.
Because I thought I might use old knocks and cut them off and make them plain, that something is in the back inside, so but you don't need that. Or
you have to think about the veins. You have to think about the strength of the arrow when you shoot heavy bows. Don't get like 100-pound bow and shoot what you would normally carbon arrow, because without the knock, without the insert, you risk damage.
Of course.
Be conscious, get a heavier arrow, reinforced. You could use, there's tape that has fibers in it, like fiber tape or epoxy even, but there's something so you can get a hold of it a little bit better, so it's easier to,
I could imagine if that's a good idea to fill 1 centimeter with epoxy of the back of the arrow. Yeah, I could imagine this. Armin, once back then, I think it's longer ago, you asked me how to become a famous archer. You asked me that on Facebook, I think. And when you told us now about that nockless shooting, and some guy asks you, oh, how do you came to that nockless shooting? Like I asked you today. You know what your answer should be? I had to, because I destroyed every knock. I used to shoot with knocked arrows, but as I got better and better, I destroyed every knock, so I started shooting knockless.
Too expensive, so I simply
Too
skipped.
expensive.
Yeah. I'm not the first one to ever shoot nockless arrows. I realize that. But what I did was I took a combative frame of mind, and I looked at what people was already doing, and I made it work better for me. Because I changed every single thing about the way I do everything. I watch videos of people, they keep their quiver on the side, and they do it this way, they stand this way, and all of that contributes to speed, because now I put my quiver close to where it's more in the center, so they both raise up at the same time.
Yeah.
Because even if it's a tenth, even if you pull from the side and it's a tenth of a second or a 20th of a second, shoot 5 or 10 arrows, that's going to add up to seconds. So I changed every single thing about that and created my own style of shooting just out of basically learning dexterity. I just started playing with this thing and just realized when I seen the nockless style online, I just took it there and it just became natural, really.
And you said that Native American or Amazonians, or who was it who used nockless arrows?
There was a few people that I watched online. I watched a lot of old videos of Native American Indians because I am from America. So I looked in our history, and there's a guy, I hope I don't say this wrong, but Panagiotis. He's a Native American archer that you can see shooting nockless arrows fast. He has a style a little different than mine. He shoots over the top. He shoots over the top of his, and he pinches his differently, but in some ways it's similar.
And it's tradition in his tribe or in his people to shoot nockless arrows. It's his historic or tradition.
You would have to ask him those things, because I don't know about him personally, but his videos, I've seen his videos, and he represents himself as a Native American that shoots nockless, but he also contributes some of his skill to Lars Anderson's style as well. So he's kind of joining different styles. But mine is just more combative. I think theirs is more towards like hunting and things like that, Native American, because out of necessity, but me, it's just more, I try to learn to do different techniques for different scenarios. 3, 4, 5 people around me, this distance, that distance, smoke arrows, distraction over here while you're taking, things like that type of thing.
What's your distance then? What do you think is your combat distance or your range where you would see your style of shooting in a combat situation? Which range distance?
Within 50 yards.
50 yards. Okay.
Yeah. No. Go ahead.
But is there any known tradition or history about nockless arrow shooting?
Me personally, no.
You don't know about if it was common in at some tribes or with some tribes or so?
No. I don't know anything about their combat techniques or anything like that, or I just seen something and took that one thing and then just interpreted it different than I think a lot of people interpreted it, and then just built from there. What worked for me best. So.
But I tried to find out what is the idea behind. I understand why you are doing this. I don't know why this Native American is doing it. You mentioned, but I like to figure out to find out what was the idea, or what is the idea. You say you're making it competitive and combat style and so on, but the sense or the idea behind, I don't get to any conclusion.
Yeah, anything about what he does, you would have to ask him. I mean, there's a lot of videos online, even movies and things about that, about tribes in different culture, Brazil and Amazonian.
And they do it. And
Yes.
they shoot nockless.
Knockless arrows.
Okay.
And some of the tribes, New Guinea or somewhere, they don't even put feathers or fletchings on their arrows. They shoot, you know, just like I do. But but if you want to go into depth and ask questions about how they do this or culture, this, that is not my
Okay.
expertise.
But what could you think of? I mean, I could think when you have let's say a bamboo shaft, and you cut even above the node, you cut a groove. It's always a weak spot. It can always break. And when you are capable of shooting without a knock, you shoot in the same safe way. Why not? Why first spending the time fiddling this gap in, which will break away or will not hold or whatever, or you need to reinforce it again? When you can shoot directly, you cut the bamboo beyond the node, and then you start shooting.
I mean, for thousands and thousands of years, they made a little groove or a kind of knock, and it was also okay. So I don't have the idea.
I just try to think what could be the reason.
Yeah. Me
because
too.
we know what in history really happened, so we need to make it now and see what's the benefit or what's the proof or whatever.
Yeah, if you're in a culture, say that is isolated, for instance, and you don't have internet, you don't have stores, you don't have things like that to sell nocks. You can't just go down and buy a compound or a crossbow. You know, like what you're saying makes sense as far as not cutting groove. If you have a flat surface and a nockless and you can shoot it good, I mean.
And when you see the most common or I think the most traditional or draw is the pinch draw. And I mean, and this would even work. A pinch draw would work with a knockless arrow.
Yeah.
And when you give
if the bow is not too strong,
of course, or you support it then with the cherry or whatever, where you have then the middle finger on it.
You know, maybe Armin knows about. I discussed it. I think back then in Korea with Murat. I also couldn't find out the purpose of this. You may know it better than me. I mean, of shooting the short arrows with that Sniper or how is it called? That
Marshara, yeah. Overdraw
what is
device.
the purpose of this?
That you can shoot.
You know what we are talking about, Jeff?
Yeah, you're talking about like the tanga.
Tanga, exactly. Yeah.
Or Sniper or how?
Yeah, Sniper. Now, Sniper is this one where you have here on the hand, and then you have this half pipe where you throw the arrow in and shoot
what
a
is
short
the purpose
arrow.
of this? What is the idea behind that?
That you can first of all draw longer than the arrow is. You can shoot shorter, more lightweight arrows.
What's the benefit of light arrows?
More distance.
More power. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And the arrow is, I mean, it makes a difference if you shoot now, let's say a 20-inch arrow and you draw 20 inches, then you give this arrow a certain amount of kinetic energy. When you can draw it now, let's say 40 inches, and it travels 40 inches with the string, you give it more power.
But I can make the bow like, so it works also with the short arrow and so on, no?
And these arrows can't be shot back from an enemy, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah, they even look.
Or just by pygmies.
The thing is, they even had in sometimes on the string a small metal ring.
I know.
And then they only had a cone, like you make a cone when you put your knock on, but you don't put the knock on.
Yeah.
And you knock the arrow in there and shoot it. And when the enemy picks up this arrow, he can't do anything because he can't knock it.
Yeah. If you look into sports and archery, they tell you that, which I already know, but I'm just, the knockless arrow, one of the benefits of that is that if there was a scenario like in war, and you shot an arrow like this, maybe they don't know how to shoot knockless arrows, you know, and then that benefits you, you know, or if you break a knock on the battlefield and you only got 1 or 2 arrows, whatever, now you have that extra skill to be able to, you know,
I don't say that this skill is not of value.
Right.
You understand? Don't get me wrong.
Many ways, man. Many ways. People don't even think about how, you know, how to apply it. They just say, oh, I like it or I don't like it, and this is why I like it or don't like it. They don't really take the time to actually try it. If I sat down with you, we did a video chat. I do video chats with my friends and we share, you know, techniques. And I just showed you 1 or 2 things. I mean, it totally changed your concept, totally changed your perception on knockless arrows and the way people shoot. I mean, it's just, people, they're too quick to judge, you know? I mean, beginners, another thing, a beginner that has no skill, they can't even shoot a bow, wants to learn an advanced technique, you know? This is not a beginner's technique, you know? You can't just teach anybody, you know, how to do this because they have to learn everything else first. They have to learn the stance, the aim, all of this, you know? So if people, oh, I got to know this because so-and-so knows this, or I'll be a good archer if I learn this technique or learn to shoot fast. That's not the case because you only know one thing now. You don't know everything else. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Now he's back. You were quickly gone, Peter.
I thought you were.
No, you passed out.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Happens with age.
Yeah. I don't know.
Anything more? Tell us a bit more about the knockless arrows, Jeff. I'm already interested and I will try it next days. When I have time, I will prepare a set of arrows, make them a knockless, the tape around it, or maybe even only shafts without fletchings because short distance you don't need anyway.
Yeah, I applied, I know people do exercises. People do exercises in archery. You'll see videos and things like that of people to show you how to strengthen your back, how to strengthen your shoulders. Yeah. Shoulders.
Yeah, I understood.
Shoulders.
But what I do is I just train with my weights like I'm going to shoot, you know, like boxing. And that's pretty much what I train to do. Hit the body bag, do all exercises for my martial arts, and it benefits my archery because it's all about form, it's all about timing, you know, it's all about power, strength, dexterity, and all these things come together in archery. So if you can do one good, you can do the other, you know, a lot easier. So
okay. Yeah, I will try that. I will for sure give it a go. But I said my first try on when the video was running, I wanted to be cocky, you know. I said, you know, what do you do when you lose your knock? You should knockless, bang, try fire my bow.
Yeah, mostly that happens because the knockless arrow is not on the string. So what they do is they tend to grab it like this and pinch it and put their finger here, but it's not touching the string. So when you pull it back, it's this part because it's not touching the string. So the very first thing you have to do is make sure that it's connecting the string, then pull back the string, and you won't misfire. You won't misfire.
Yeah, of course. Practice it a few times and it will work.
Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah, I've done it. Believe me, I've misfired a lot when I was learning to do this.
Yeah, of course. Nice. Interesting. I mean, I like all these variations in archery that not everybody is simply, I don't know, shooting an Olympic bow or something. And nothing against it. We have now one at the range here. He came here and first learned instinctive or intuitive or whatever traditional archery. And now he went to the Archery Association and he learns there with recurve with a takedown, all this yada yada setup, and it's horrible. But it's a way too, so it's fine too. And he shoots really nice, consistent tight groups on 30 meters, which I would not do. So it's fine.
Yeah.
Jeff, you ever talked to Lars Anderson or had contact to Lars?
Okay. I knew you was going to go there. I hear a lot of comparison and talk about Lars Anderson. a lot of people will comment to me, compare me, or ask me, hey, have you showed this technique to Lars yet? And this will be the first comment they'll say. They only say, hi, Jeff, my name is so-and-so.
Yeah.
They just say, hey, does Lars know you doing this, or what is, so I don't know where that stems from, but I used to talk to him. I used to talk to him before when I started getting into archery, and I talked to him about the arrows turning around, and stuff like that. And we worked on a few projects, but we haven't talked in a long time.
Okay.
So I don't talk to him anymore. I don't want to get into that because he's not here to talk about it. So I'm not going to talk about somebody.
No. I just wanted to know if you talked to him and if you exchanged opinions or something like that.
Yeah, I've talked to him before in the past, a couple years ago. But yeah.
Okay, great.
Why was you asking? Was you referencing a certain thing, or?
No. Because you are in fast shooting and doing stuff a little. You can compare it to his fast shooting. I don't know. I'm an outsider in that fast shooting stuff, and so I like to ask you just if you were in contact, if you talked to him about that fast shooting and so on. But it's like you say, it's the same. Even if you do a completely different thing, they say they comment at my China video, they should have taken Lars Andersen there, and so it doesn't depend what you're doing. They always say put Lars Andersen there.
Yeah. I talked to him before, and I get that a lot from people that want to say that, put us in some kind of competition together. Like, who's faster? I've been asked, do you think you could shoot faster than him? And this and
that's
that.
okay. It's okay.
And that's a genuine question, but I tend to stay away from that because, it's not necessary for me to go into that kind of conversation with somebody because if you make a video 10 years ago about something and you haven't made a video in 10 years on speed shooting, how can I gauge how fast the guy is after 10 years if he's been shooting this fast? So I can't really state, who shoots this way or who shoots that way or whatever. So their question can't really be answered. So I just try to tend to stay away from questions like that.
Yeah.
And Jeff, because you're in the United States, have you ever thought about to appear on a shooting show or a fair or
Right now I'm training. I'm going to attempt a Guinness World Record. For fastest time to shoot 10 arrows at a 20-yard distance.
And you have people paying that because I know it's very expensive if you're making it on.
No, I'm going to do it myself.
Try to get the television or some channel for paying this because I know the judges are expensive, and if you like to set up and record for Guinness, it's very. Try to get into some media and they will pay it maybe.
They have a lot of rules on Guinness. Some of the rules I don't agree with, but I gotta, if I want to do this, then I have to conform to what they want.
Yeah.
Like they want every product that I use has to be obtainable by everybody. It has to be for sale on the market. Like you can't have custom nothing. And the bows and arrows and stuff I shoot, all custom. Everything I shoot is custom. So I got to find out exactly specifics on what I can use.
But an arrow is custom and tape is custom. You only put them together.
Exactly.
It's still custom. It's still available on the market. You can buy tape, you can buy an arrow, and you simply put the knockout and it's still available. So it's not a big thing.
If you make your own bow, if you made a bow and you're not selling it, I can't. You can't.
That's different. But even your bow, you bought your bow from somewhere, but you only modified it.
Yeah.
Oh, it's fine.
So that's the thing I'm looking into right now.
Yeah,
What I
that's
can use, what I can't use, and I'm in talks with him right now, going back and forth, finding out what I can do. But that's the only thing I got going on as far as that.
Because that's if you're just saying I'm using regular arrows just without a knock, it's not custom,
Right.
in my opinion.
Exactly.
Right. Yeah, they didn't say that I couldn't use nockless, and it doesn't matter what kind of bow you use either. They said it could be compound, it could be reverb. It doesn't matter.
Just available, common product. Yep.
Yeah, but just because someone breaks a record with a compound doesn't mean you have to break the record with a compound. You can use whatever bow, but it has to be available for everybody to purchase, and that's it. So
I think you will manage, no worries.
Yeah. I'm just, just saying some of the things that, we're in talk with. But it's supposed to be in January, so it's about 6 or 7 months from now.
Good.
So we holding you are you saying the same in English? Holding the thumbs for you?
No.
You say just thumbs up, no? In German, we say we are holding the thumbs for you that you're making this.
Oh, good luck.
It's like good luck, yes.
I simply know that Jeff will do it because he will train to the point. He's a martial artist through and through, and he will train to the point that he cannot not do it anymore. The only thing is you have people around and you have cameras running and whatever judges that might influence you a bit. This is what you know, Peter. You can shoot dead center all the time, and then you're in a show, you have 1,000 people around, and then you need to perform the same way. It's a bit difficult. This is the only tricky thing. And if you blend this out, or if you train or practice now, or do this scenario already with a few people around and a camera is running, like you play Guinness already, that you get used to it, that there are 20 people around and you shoot the same way, then you get used to it.
But Jeff, it's very similar to hunting. You have to stay straight on target on your thing. You should not see anything around you except your goal, your target, your idea, and let the television guys and the camera guys talk what they want. You have to do your thing, and that's one ability you have to have if you like to do it on the movies or somewhere. That's the only thing, because they always want to talk to you into something you're not sure about, and you have to avoid that.
Yeah. That's why kind of like I'm doing this broadcast with you guys, and I'm doing some other things because it's helping me, be able to communicate with people and be on camera and not take myself so seriously all the time, and just kind of learn to relax. So when I do get that opportunity, that I'll feel more relaxed if something, camera's on me.
I tell you some more thing. The movie guys and the television guys, and they tend to talk to you like if they are your friends and if they like to help you. But that's their trick. You have to stay distant from them. You have to stay by your own. If you like to be a star, you have to behave like a star. You're not friends with that guy. You're the star, and you have to behave like a star. So they will treat you like a star, and then you are a star. You understand what I mean?
I understand what you mean, but I think what's really weird about this is when I shoot, I totally understand where people are coming from, because when I shoot and I look at the video and I see myself do it, even I don't believe it. And so it's like when I look at it, I'm just like, because I'm not used to seeing it. So it's like when somebody says something about it being this or that, I think I can understand your perspective. I can understand why you would say that, because it's a hard thing to comprehend. But if I went to your house and I showed it to you in person, they would still say, do it again. they'd be looking for something. Okay, how's he? You know, looking how I'm not doing it wrong, or how I'm, you know, faking it. And it's like, I don't understand that. I'm literally using the same platform as everybody else, making a video and presenting it as real like everybody else, and yet theirs is valid, but mine's not. But I'm doing the same thing you are.
Think about it. The stage magicians, they will not do a trick a second time during one show. They do it one time, and what you are seeing.
Because they don't want to mess up.
What I like to say is, because you said, show that again to me, show it again, show it live to me, and so on. You have to show them all the stuff one time. Finished. You understand?
Yeah, I understand. But that's not even as fast as I shoot. This is the thing that people are not going to understand. People are not even accepting that it's possible to do 5 arrows in 1 second. So
their problem.
Yeah, I know, but I'm saying, so when my next video, I want to challenge another thing from the speed shooter, gun shooter. He shoots a handgun 8 rounds per second. So I want to challenge myself again, and then try to push it further and further and further, just to see how far I can go.
Is it Jerry Mikulek or his? Yeah. You know him, Armin?
Yeah.
You have to check him out.
I know you follow him, Peter. I been spying on you. I know you follow him.
Yeah. And how was it? I forgot the name. There was one very famous, but he died shortly ago. He was a single action.
Like 2 shots in like a 20th of a second.
He had a video, and they had 2 balloons.
Yes.
And they recorded the sound.
Yes. I forget his name.
He shot. All 2 balloons broke, and just on the sound tape, they saw that he shot 2 times with a single action revolver. Bob Manton.
He opened his gun and showed the empty shells and everything that he shot it and everything. And when I saw him, the very first thing I thought of was, I want to shoot my bow that fast. That's the first thing I thought when I seen him do that. I watched it 100 times. I know who you're talking about.
Bob Manton is his name. Bob Manton.
Yeah, I was like, I want to shoot that fast. So I started changing everything.
Incredible.
Not my holster. It's my quiver. Everything I started customizing it to where it was for speed. Everything was one motion instead of all this.
Makes sense.
Yep. Bob Manton was his name.
Yeah, he's bad. Yeah, that guy was a badass.
Yeah. He was also at the American Shooter show where Byron Ferguson was.
Really?
Yep. Wow. Yep. You have to check out on YouTube. I mean, Bob Manton. Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
But with your skills, Jeff, you really could think about, I don't know if it's your thing, doing shows.
Yeah.
After your Guinness, that you give shows of half an hour somewhere and do trick shooting, even maybe with blunt arrows on stage, then it's safer and whatever, I don't know.
I haven't got that far ahead of myself yet. I'm really just still fine-tuning a lot of stuff that I do. I'm still working on a couple other customizations ideas that I have, inventions that I have as far as arrows and things. So maybe I'll write something, but for now, I don't really think that far ahead. I'm just kind of enjoying shooting.
Okay, no problem.
I'm very passionate about it, and that's all I want to do every day.
We like to get you on stage.
No, it's simply interesting.
You invite me and I'll come, Peter, for you.
Oh yeah, I pay. No, it's a joke.
We can work something out. If you're honest, if you honestly want to get together and shoot, sure, no problem. I'll be honored. I'd be honored.
Yeah, for me, it's simply he does something
honored too.
very special, and that's why I think it would be worth showing it to more, make it more public in one way or the other way, because we spoke about this narrow-mindedness of some archers and whatever, and then you show something completely different, you know. And this is, I think it's interesting. It's like you know, when you cook, you put different spices, and then you know it simply makes it perfect.
And you know, Jeff, I have to say one thing. You shouldn't be honored, because I tell you, you're a way better archer than I am, because you worked out something very special and you're doing it wonderfully. And I just took my longbow and did some shots. So that's nothing new to the world. But you worked out a very new thing, and I think that's the value, that's the capital you have, because you worked out a new thing, and you are on the way to making it perfect and better, and more perfect and better. And so that's your strength, your power, in my opinion.
You know,
I just hope it.
Byron,
guys.
I see a lot of pictures of you with Byron Ferguson, and you shoot together, and I can tell you have you know, a love and admiration for this guy.
Yep.
I was going to say, the way you look up to him, you know, some people look up to you in the same way. Like, I follow you, you know, I really love what you do and your style, and I follow Armin, you know, and it's like, I'm very humble when you say things like that to me. I appreciate it so much, because it comes from someone that I admire, that I look is when I'm learning to shoot. You know, I'm watching your techniques. I'm learning. You know, that's how I learn. You know. So.
But you know, I have to say, Byron Ferguson also, he's a way better archer than I am. Byron, I had the honor to be with a television production when they filmed him, and he shot about 70 meters with a broadhead arrows, 220 grain massey, I don't know, 60 pound bow, right? 72 pounds. He does all his stage shows, he does with a 70-pound bow. And so that, and you know, he was shooting close range for the television guys, and then they did some Robin Hood shots. See, he had to cut a rope, you know, like Robin Hood shot the hanged man from the gallows. And he missed 70 yards or 70 meters. He missed 1 centimeter left, 1 centimeter right, but the elevation always was just perfect in the middle of the rope. So I couldn't do that. He's way better. And sorry, let me say one more sentence. The big difference between Byron Ferguson and a lot of wonderful archers is he is doing his stuff live on stage. He has the nerve to do it on stage. And that's a big difference.
Yeah, I got a lot of respect for that. That's why I admire you guys, because the platform you guys use, and you're so humble, you're so open, you laugh at yourselves, you know, and that's what you should do. When you get to a certain level, you should lift everybody up to that level. Try to keep people down and be better than somebody. And that's what I admire. That's why I respect both of you guys, because your personalities and your talent.
You know, and it sounds too, I don't know, but the real good ones, like Byron Ferguson and so on, they are all humble. If you will meet a big star, they are all humble. The really big ones are all humble and nice. Just the wannabes are assholes. That's true. That's true.
I had this experience when I was in Lebanon. I had one girl, she was shooting, she all day long, I love archery. And I told her, because normally we shot her 3 fingers, and I showed her, because she's obviously from Lebanon, I showed her thumb release, and she shot really good. And sometimes we had a slightly small friendly competition going on between us two, and then she shot better, and she said, oh, now you're angry at me because I shoot better. And you said, no, you can't make me a bigger compliment. When you shoot better than me, that means I taught you right. Because you picked this and you performed, then you trained and you did it better than me. And just awesome.
That's another thing as far as perception. I don't look at myself as a teacher or a master, even no matter what level that people say that I'm at.
Yeah.
You know, I always look at myself as a student, because then I can continuously learn. And I know I said that earlier, but it's true, because when you start thinking, you know, I'm gonna teach this, I teach that, then that's all. What else am I, you know? You have to grow. You have to grow too. You're not just a teacher. You have to grow as a person and an archer as well.
And as you say, you always have to look for the best one you can reach. When I had the opportunity to meet Byron Ferguson and to have some time with him, I just studied him. I looked, oh, how he's doing that, how he's doing that, and how he is talking and how he behaves. Also, I learned that television guy thing. I saw how he behaved with them and so on. So you just can learn by the pros, by the experts, by the real experts.
Yeah.
And everyone will who is telling you, oh, I make a workshop with you, telling how you become a star or something. Then this guy would be a star if he would know how it works.
Yeah.
So he must not would not have to make workshops about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And one important thing for me is always when one teaches to learn. This is what I figured out when I gave my Tai Chi courses. I started understanding and learning about Tai Chi way more when I gave courses, when I saw questions, when I saw them struggling. Then you really need to go, because otherwise you do it for yourself and everything's fine. The moment you start teaching, you learn so much more.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely.
So that's why being a teacher does not mean you are not a student. You are a student for your lifetime.
Right. Yeah. And I understand in some cultures that master and teacher is a title, you know, because if you go to school, you got to have a label. You got teacher, students, and I understand that, and I respect that. But there's some people that look at that title as it's like a badge, or it's like, you know, an ego thing, and I don't accept that. You know,
no, but you know, Jeff, in every area, in every department or something where it should really work, there's a kind of hierarchy, and that's a good thing. Lots of people today are against hierarchies, but on a ship or in war, in battle, or at the firefighters, you name it, there has to be a kind of hierarchy. One is the master, the others are the students, and so on. And it works. Then it will, if you have respect to your officer, to your master, then he will bring out the best out of you, because he will know how to teach you, how to mentor you, or mentor you.
Yeah, yeah. I'm talking about the ideology, you know, about just the way that people think of themselves, not necessarily what other people like. I call my teacher, you know, Mr. or Mrs. So-and-so here, whereas in another country, you might call them master or teacher directly, because different language translates differently. Sometimes it's translated differently. So I can understand that as far as titles, you know, but that person that takes that and thinks they learn one technique and then now all of a sudden they're a teacher, or now I'm a master. That's the type of person I'm talking about, not the others that you was referencing.
Or even having it then as a name extension in your Facebook name or in your YouTube name, you know, because you need to mention that you're a sensei or a whatever.
Right.
I don't know.
Right.
If it's necessary, but some people simply need it. But I think
Dalai Lama speaking.
I think as long as you need this, something up there is still a little too big.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you won't need it.
Yeah,
Because
exactly.
people will see if you're a master once they get in contact with you. I'm not a master. People always tell me, thank you, master, especially from Indonesia when you say happy birthday. Oh, thank you, master. I said, I'm not a master. I'm only an archer. I only shoot bow and arrow like you.
But you know, on the other hand, they like to talk like this,
I know.
and they mean it in a good way.
Yeah, I know. I respect that, but I still, in the beginning, I always said, listen, don't call me master. I'm simply Armin.
Yeah, exactly.
And then they will say, oh, he's a real master.
Whatever you do, it's always the wrong.
He's the Buddha. He's the Buddha.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you like, honestly, you know, I know we're talking and we're getting along and everything, but honestly, all kidding aside, I would definitely go perform with you if I had an opportunity, because I respect you and I like what you're doing, and I hope that you keep doing it. And I look forward to your book. I really do.
Oh, thank you, thank you, thank you. And who knows what the future brings?
Yeah.
Let's
Never know.
think about. And yes, I will work on the book to get it finished, because I know the English speaking market target group is way bigger than the German.
Yeah,
speaking.
big.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that doesn't necessarily mean they're going to like it.
It doesn't matter. But you know, it's like always. It's like in every group, you have good ones and you have a few the negative ones. But they simply hate themselves. They hate life, and that's why they hate everything. This you can't help them.
You know,
I don't want it to lose in translation, like, because I've learned a few languages and I travel a lot. And sometimes when they explain stuff to me in English, it's not the same. It's like a joke could be really funny in their language, but then when they explain it to me, I don't see where it's funny, because they had to, the translation loses it.
It gets lost. Yeah, of course.
Yeah. And I don't want that to happen to the book. I hope that you get somebody.
No. You know, we talked about it in another podcast. T.J. Conrads, who is the publisher and editor of the Traditional Bowhunter magazine. He's from Boise, Idaho, you know?
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. He read through and said it's good English. He liked it. So I was sure I need a native English speaking person to read through to say, oh, that's not good or that's good, and so on. So I'm quite sure there's not too much lost in translation or so.
Okay, good. I'm happy to hear that, because I heard that you got a second one. You're going to work on your third one, right?
Yeah. It should become a serial, because I found out if you just write one book, you couldn't get any money out of it. You have to write a serial. You have to write every year one book or two books, so you can get some money out of it.
You don't get any joy out of writing, expressing.
It's joy. It's joy. Yeah. You have to like it, otherwise you couldn't do it.
Exactly. Yeah, that's your motivation. You know, all the rest of it's just icing on a cake. You know.
Yes, and I can put inside the writing some of my own ideas and you know, like the warrior stuff and how it should be, and that violence not always is just bad. You know, that idea only a good guy with a gun can stop a bad guy with a gun, which is not very popular today, but that's how the world is, in my opinion. And parts of that are in the book.
Do you have, Armin, do you have any literature out there, or plan to write anything?
There are so many books. For this train, I'm too late, and I would not know where to start and how to start and about what I should write, because I don't do anything very special. I simply do it my way, and I'm not sure if it's so interesting to, you know, it's thumb release, it's Slavic release, it's Three Fingers, and there are books out, and I don't know. I don't see that.
I mean, I had in the past, I had the idea, and that would be an idea for you, like Miyamoto Musashi's book, The Book of Five Rings. So you have every section is the book of earth, the book of fire, the book of water, I don't know, and to translate it to archery, not translate it, but to write it like that.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah, because the Book of Five Rings and the Art of War, you can read it and interpret it in two different ways, as far as business, as far as combat.
For everything, for love, for everything.
I have a book on the low that I've been writing about poetry. It's a poetry archery, but it's kind of the same thing. It's a reflection of not just feelings in life, but it's also about archery as well. You can interpret it different ways, but it's not really something like a project. It's just something that sometimes I feel something, and I write it down, and it just all seems to be about archery.
That makes sense. Yes.
Jeff,
Okay.
because you said this, back then I had a girlfriend from France, and she was a sexologist. So she knew everything about the geishas and sex, everything. And she said, archery is like sex. I said, what? I never thought about it. And she said, yes, you're building up power, you're loading your bow with power, and then it explodes and unloads. I said, wow. I never thought about archery in that way.
Target,
You understand?
Yeah. I have some similar
like because you said you can put it into different areas.
Yeah. I mean, you're the creator. It's your passion. So how you express that, is interpreted differently with people anyway.
Yeah.
So for you to sit here and just allow it to be that, to where anybody can interpret it any way they want to, there's a freedom about that. It's just I really like that. It's not his interpretation. He's the writer, so you only get one-sided view. It's how you interpret it, what you take. That's what I like about it, that kind of writing, poetry.
And you know what? Because you said it, Jeff, that Art of War from Sun Tzu and the Book of Five Rings from Musashi. I think if you understand these two books, you understand a lot about the world, a lot about how people behave, a lot about human condition, a lot about strategies and tactics and what's really important and so on. Because as you said, you can use it in the business world, you can use it in fighting, you can use it in a discussion. It's very interesting. In my opinion, to my friend who is a graphic guy, kind of artist, I said, marketing, advertising, etc. You don't have to know more than the Art of War and Musashi's book. Then you know everything about marketing.
Yeah, it cuts the time. So our life, we only live so long. And when somebody writes a book and you can learn something that's that vital, you get to an opportunity to get outside of your box and expand your knowledge about different cultures, different people. Like you're traveling, but you're not. You're you're on a plane ride. The rider is just taking you, somewhere else. And I really like that. Really like that.
In another situation, to another place, in another environment, in another. That's a benefit of books, because I don't know, Musashi was an old guy when he wrote this book, if it's true, I don't know. And so we can read the essence of his wisdom, of his knowledge in a tiny book. That's wonderful. That's wonderful.
You get a taste of culture. This guy is from a different culture. He's from a different lifetime, a different time in history. So we get a glimpse of what people were like just by how he writes and how he expresses himself. So we're learning so much. We're not just learning what he's telling us. If you read in between the lines and you read into that, I mean, it's literally, in a literal sense. I mean, we learn a lot from books like that.
I don't know, Jeff. I like to ask you, I don't know it. Maybe you know it. And we even don't know if everything Musashi wrote about himself is true.
Right, right.
I don't know if there are many sources about him. I think the most stuff we know about him, he wrote himself.
Yeah.
So that's also
Yeah.
interesting, but there's a lot of truth and wisdom.
But on the other side, an hour ago, we said that all these old written documentations are mostly propaganda. Who tells us that this is not propaganda, or even Sun Tzu's writing is propaganda?
This guy here.
Jeff. Yeah, of course. I mean, Musashi made propaganda for himself. Maybe he ran a SWAT school or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Because he in his book often he criticizes the other schools of sword fighting, if I remember well. So we don't know. And Sun Tzu's writing, The Art of War, is said to have been like a catalog of his abilities, of his strategic knowledge, because he went from king to king to sell himself as a strategic advisor. So
there's even people that question the Robin Hood exists, you know, like, because there's all these stories, you know, it's like, are they just stories? We wasn't there. We don't know. I mean,
yeah. Yeah. If we like to talk about Robin Hood, in my opinion, it is like with many legendary characters, they put together adventures from different persons and put it on that one name, in my opinion. I'm sure a kind of Robin Hood existed, but he neither was that we see in the movies nor that we can read in the ballads. But he was a guy, and like we say, oh, I'm not the Houdini, you know. In Germany we say I'm not the Houdini. If they say make it faster, so, and they say, oh, he's like a Robin Hood, and so on. So it went into the public language, and he's like Robin Hood. He's like a Robinson Crusoe, or you know. I don't know if he existed, but I always see Robin Hood as a kind of fairy tale, a wonderful story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, how much have you actually tried to find out about Robin Hood? Like, have you actually like studied history?
In my opinion, there's one good book around which is called Robin Hood, and it's written by a guy named James C. Holt.
Yeah.
And the first sources about Robin Hood are that old ballads, like small poems, and they are sectioned in adventures. So Robin Hood and the Robin Hood and the monk, and Robin Hood and the Armin, was is Müller? Sorry.
Müller is the, I don't know the English word.
I know what is how the Miller, Robin Hood and the Miller, Robin Hood and the Potter, and so on, like that old King Arthur stories, King Arthur and the Lady of the Sea and King Arthur, like that, and then there were more. They even know when the characters came into the story. Father Tuck and Maid Marian when she appeared first, and Little John and Ellen Dale and so on. They know when they got into the story, and now today we have a big amount of ballads and stories, and they put it together.
Yeah, we're going to just see how many people's going to watch a 24/7 broadcast. This is the first marathon broadcast.
Yeah.
Which we finish now very soon. Don't worry.
Guinness record.
Guinness record podcast. Yeah.
No. I'm having a great time. I'm just saying.
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we don't want to overdo it with our viewers.
No,
you know.
no.
If you were so tough and really watched the last 2.5 hour episode, congratulations.
Yeah.
But you know, it's
And we can have.
You made it. You're a success. You're a great archer. You listened the whole time.
Thank you. And we can meet again. We can invite you again, and we talk again about the progress of your training, about the Guinness stuff, and so on.
Yes, I'd be honored. I'd be honored. Yeah.
I would have one
We are
last
honored.
question, Jeff. If you inspire now a kid or a man or whatever, whomever, to start archery and directly shooting knockless arrows, would you say it's a good way, or would you have any advice for someone who wants to start archery and saw you now shooting knockless arrows and said, look, I don't want to learn everything else. I want to start directly shooting knockless arrows. Do you have any advice?
Yes, I would say start with that. Because it's just like with knocks. When you learn knocks, you learn all the different techniques, the thumb draw, all that. It's the same with knockless. There's different techniques and different ways to hold it and shoot them different ways. So start with one or the other. You know. So if you start with if you start with knockless, I recommend that you focus on finger strength and dexterity. It's very important. A lot of people in archery, they ignore dexterity. Dexterity is really, really important, especially as a beginner, just to be able to handle your arrows properly. A lot of people put a lot of emphasis on stance and aiming, and it all, it's all important, but that dexterity tends to come, after you do it for a long time, when you come repetitively. So I would say, start there. If you start with dexterity and you start with knockless arrows, I just have a passion for shooting knockless arrows, so I say start with knockless arrows, man.
Of course.
It's easier. It's so much easier. So much easier.
It's always the same. It's like when they talk to me, but I think or I have 3-finger shooters and they learn thumb release and they say, oh my God, this is hard. Yeah. Then they say, it's not harder than learning 3 fingers. You only used to shoot 3 fingers. If you teach someone directly shooting thumb release, he finds it normal. And then after a while, you teach him 3 fingers and he will tell you, oh, this is weird. This is hard. So it's simply what you get used to and what you practice. That's why whatever, no matter what technique you learn, you only need some guidance, I guess. So I most probably should get in contact with you or watch your videos, I guess, because I don't know if there is any other.
We sent them to you.
I don't know if there is any other good source out there where you can learn shooting knockless arrows.
I do video chats on Messenger, so it's free. So it's free with a lot of my friends from Indonesia and from other countries in the world.
Oh, cool.
Like I said, I share, with friends, and we all talk like this on video chat, and we have a good time, and we learn from each other. And so if you want to message me and let me know when you have some free time, we can definitely get together and and talk, and and you could try it out. And then if I can give you some pointers, then I'd be more than happy to.
Perfect. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I honor to have you here, and we hope we see you again and meet you again, and let's talk again. And how should we say? Please, guys, watchers and lady watchers, subscribe to Jeff's channel.
Yes.
Jeff
has a YouTube channel. Jeff has a Facebook page. Simply, follow him and subscribe to his channel.
Leave some comments. Leave some comments.
Thank you very much.
But critical or constructive criticism, not stupid comments. We had enough. So simply, or ask questions. As Jeff said, if you don't understand something, don't neglect it. Don't make it bad. Ask a question. Maybe you get an answer, and maybe you learn something.
Yes, I'm more than happy to anybody that comes to me and says, "Hey, can we do a video chat?" Or yeah, sure, I don't mind that. But when somebody comes at you the wrong way, it's like, I'm not going to waste my time.
Of course not.
Yeah. So shoot straight, and all the best to Jeff and to Kentucky.
Thank
Have
you.
a nice time.
We see you soon again. We will invite you again if you don't mind. And if you like us crazy guys, then you're more than welcome back in the show.
Oh, great. I look forward to it,
I
guys.
agree. I agree.
Perfecto. Thank you very much.
Goodbye,
Have a nice
Jeff.
evening. Thank you for
Best to
watching.
you.
Bye bye. Ciao, guys.
Ciao.
Hasta la vista.
Hasta la vista.